Trump's faith advisor sparks a heated clash after attacking the UK, the monarchy, and the Prime Minister, leading to a tense back and forth that ends with the host abruptly shutting the interview down. Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.
Well, again, it's already clear that, and I don't think the UK is great. Again, I think the people are great of the UK, but I think you're going into a very dangerous direction. And I think many in America believe that. But the reality of it is, UK has always been our greatest and oldest ally. And it is important that, we share so many of the same messaging. Naturally, your prime minister and even your king have done some things that has been very challenging to us Americans in regards to the direction that you're taking your country. But the reality of it is, this was a good day to continue to build upon our previous strong relationships. And yes, some of the things the king said, I believe, were unnecessary. And that he really needs to, again, stick to kissing babies and also being the head of the Christian church. I remind him.
I'm sorry. Don't be so insulting to the king. He made a very, very thoughtful speech there with some important messages, particularly around our collective security. And you resort to an insult about he should stick to kissing babies. Grow up.
I think you confused my statement, and I'm sorry you may be a little slow in what I'm saying. I'll speak slower so you can understand, because what I said was not an insult at all. I think, again, I made it very clear that this was a great day for Great Britain and for the United States. I think this was a beautiful thing. It's an honor that His Majesty took time out of his schedule to come to the United States of America. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that this is the kind of the unity that we need to continue to build on. There are some policies that you are having in your country that is challenging to us conservatives here in America, but that's neither here nor there. Again, so I'm sorry you must have misunderstood what I said as an insult. It wasn't an insult. He is still the head of the Christian church in the UK. He is the head of the Church of England. And to many Christians in the UK are challenged or disturbed that his actions have seemed to be belittled the Christian faith while promoting other faiths, while he is still yet the head of the Christian church. But it's an honor that he came to the United States.
Sorry, he spent a substantial section of his speech reaffirming his Christian faith and explaining why it's important not just to him, but to our country, to your country. I'm not quite following you about how he's sort of tried to undermine it.
Well, again, I'm not speaking specific to the speech. I think the outcry of American Christians and the outcry of the UK Christians previously has caused His Majesty to echo his strong sentiments of the Christian faith. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we want to hear. Again, that is more so for the Christians in the United Kingdom. Who felt very strongly that their king, the head of the Church of England, has diverted from, promoting the Christian faith in the UK. But again, I think it was a beautiful thing. I think to see all of the great supporters who were there to support His Majesty, the King, what an honor. I do hope to get to meet him myself, especially when I come back to London. And so to be able to continue to preach prosperity and unity amongst our two countries. But again, there are some challenges that's still there, especially with your prime minister, but hopefully we can get them worked out.
Well, I'm no fan of our Prime Minister, but the insults that Donald Trump has doled out to him ever since the attacks on Iran have been utterly despicable, not the sort of thing that you would expect from the head of one state to the Prime Minister of another. And then 3 days before this visit takes place, we have administration officials, apparently with the endorsement of the White House, saying that President Trump is calling into question UK sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. And you think, well, on what planet is that an appropriate thing to do 3 days before the King of the Falkland Islands visits this country?
Well, I think the real question should be asked is what planet do you live on to where the United States' greatest ally, the UK, refused to support the United States of America's positioning to open up the Strait of Hormuz and to support UK. It is you who need the oil, not the United States of America. It is you who need to make sure that that strait is open. But yet we are risking our soldiers. We are helping the millions upon millions of Iranians who are thanking President Trump for coming to their rescue and removing that evil regime. Even right now, and I spoke to the president a couple of days ago about Iran, and even now, the very fact that their leadership is all in chaos just shows once again why it was good that Donald Trump, President Trump, acted upon that. So it's challenging when the UK refused to send naval support. It's challenging, and again, what planet you living on when our greatest ally refused to help us when we needed them. But yet, trust me, when it comes time for the UK to need us, the United States of America will be there.
The fact is that Britain has come to America's aid on many occasions in the past. President Trump didn't even seem to know that we did after 9/11 on Afghanistan. It is for sovereign nations, whether it's Britain, Germany, France, any nation, to decide whether they are going to take part in military action. Now, I happen to disagree with our government stance on this, but I fully respect our elected government's right to make that decision. And
sure.
I mean, as you well know, there have been occasions when America has done things which haven't been to the advantage of our country. But these alliances, they are formed over decades, not temporary sort of years, and they have to endure if our collective security is to endure. But that doesn't mean to say that when Donald Trump says jump, we just say how high. International relations don't work like that.
Well, you're speaking about the Trump deranged syndrome that you clearly have, and many of those in the UK have. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about the government of the United States of America. President Trump is the elected commander-in-chief. But the government of the United States of America.
Absolutely, I fully recognize that.
So you're talking about Donald Trump, and you're talking about his personality. You never met the man, but you're talking about his personality.
I haven't mentioned his personality.
Then he says how high. That's a Trump deranged syndrome mentality. We're talking about the security of our two great nations, and the reality of it is, you are part of NATO, and so when the United States, who is a member of NATO, needs and requesting help, you should in return.
An organization which President Trump consistently undermines
at the hands of the evil regime. And thanks to President Trump, they are now in a leadership situation to where things are falling apart internally in their own nation, and that gives an opportunity for democracy and the beautiful people of Iran to rise to the situation.
It's the same regime. The personalities.
If it was the same regime, their Navy would still be existing. Their Navy doesn't exist. If it was the same regime, their Air Force would exist. Their Air Force does not exist. If it's the same regime, the same Iranians are now saying we want the Strait of Hormuz to be opened up, but we have an internal leadership issue. That was not the same under the former Ayatollah. No, he's been eliminated. And all of the generals have been eliminated thanks to President Donald Trump. And remember, I don't understand the real question we should be asking: why does the UK love Iranians being killed by this evil regime? Why aren't you stepping up and helping the beautiful people of Iran who wants to be free? Why are you so in hatred of Donald Trump so much that you would allow Iranians to die at the hands of an evil Islamic and not step up the plate in the system?
For somebody who says he's a pastor, you don't have a very Christian attitude to people in debate.
Well, you clearly don't read your Bible and realize that
Thank you very much indeed. No, enough. We've heard enough derangement, to use the word that he used there.
At the end of the day, this wasn't just a heated exchange. It highlighted how voices like Mark Burns shape global perceptions of Donald Trump and the U.S. as a whole, expecting allies through NATO to fix situations. They weren't part of shows a clear misunderstanding of how those alliances actually work. It also brings up real frustration, especially when countries like the UK supported the US after the September 11 attacks, but feel dismissed today. In the contradictions in messaging. And it's no surprise people are questioning the narrative more closely. And in the end, Ian Dale stepping in didn't just end the interview, set a boundary.